What's up, everybody? Welcome to another week and another episode of the Liang and Liang's The
The
Professional
professional
Wrestling
wrestling
Podcast.
podcast. Hey,
RVD,
woo!
yay!
Yeah, I don't know why I've decided I'm doing RVD all the time, but that's what
Thrupples,
I'm doing.
thrupples.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's because I like what RVD is putting down.
Yeah.
Being too high at work.
The man's got 3 letters in his name, one for every partner in his relationship.
Yo, not to immediately sidetrack, but you know
Let's do
that
it.
little YouTube show that RJ City does with the
Yes.
AEW guys?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I have never seen him more flustered than when he was trying to do it with Rob Van Dam.
Okay.
Because the whole point is that RJ City does these little swervy, like cutesy joke questions where you think he's going to ask you a shoot question and then says something like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, he said something about Rob smoking marijuana, and Rob Van Dam goes on like a 4-minute diatribe about the history of the incrimination of
No.
marijuana laws and
Yeah.
how they were like wrapped up in like government, BS, and like it was like really thought out.
Yeah.
Or JC's like, oh, okay.
But I'm not even a little surprised, but also it's
Yeah.
like from I feel like as comedians we've been there. Like especially if you've ever like interviewed somebody or like hosted a thing where
Yeah,
you
like
like
when someone I don't know if this has ever happened to you, Lawson, when you were performing a lot. You would get beloved by some local normal person and they would hire you to MC the event, but
Yep.
then the event would turn out to be highly serious.
Yep.
Like it'd be like, oh, we're raising money for like AIDS research, or like at least AIDS research would have funny gays at it. Like just
Sure.
something like really like serious and no one else is making jokes. And I'm like, my whole thing is like I talk about falling down and Pokemon. Like, what are we?
I think the maybe one of the weirdest ones for me was, and yes, this tangent will continue.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
love so this man who was a fan. I love this man actually dearly. His name was Mo Beasley. He's a like a spoken word artist, and he actually taught my sister for a summer. But the thing is, I was like I adored him, but he did hire me to, and hire was the key word. He did pay me to host a urban erotica show. And the weird thing was, it's not that it was
Lawson's fuck
serious.
zone is back on the table.
What's the thing,
Lawson's
Katie?
fuck zone
That's
is
the
back.
thing.
It's back on, baby. Just when you thought you were out, you're back in.
That's the thing. It's like more so than it being like serious, it was like really sexy. And it was just kind
Yeah.
of weird being like I
Yeah.
was like 22 and I was
Yeah.
like this awkward kid. I might have even still been a virgin. I'm trying to think. There's a
Yeah,
chance I was still a virgin back then.
and you're like, I have a big baseball bat. That's
Exactly.
my thing.
Yeah, I was like a child coming out of playing baseball to doing comedy. And I was just like trying to do bits. I had the wherewithal to like point that out though, at least. I was good enough at comedy
Lawson,
then to be
I
like,
can't
well,
believe
this is
I am
weird.
just hearing this story. I love
Yeah.
it so much. But we're not here to talk
Anyway.
about our blunders as 22-year-olds. We're here to talk about the very serious and not funny world of
Professional
wrestling.
Ayo.
Nothing funny.
No.
Stop doing flips. This is serious.
This is serious. Grab a hold. Keep your chin up. Look at the crowd. Anyway, Katie, I sent you a match. A very,
Yeah.
very match. It was a very Japanese match done by two
loved it.
Japanese boys. And I will
I
be
loved
calling
it
them
'cause-
boys in this context.
So, before we get into this, I just get a text message from Lawson. It just says, I have sent you a match.
Yeah, that's what
It's
happened.
between two tag team partners. And I go, great. Who are these people? What am I looking at? I know if Lawson sends me something like this, it's gonna be good. Like, I'm not worried, but just the man just dropped it in my lap with zero context. I'm like, please give me just like 2 words of context.
I kind of wanted to only give you that context at first, but then you asked me for more, so I did
I just
elaborate a
wanted
little
to
bit.
know
Yeah.
what you told me was perfect, which I'm gonna pull up my phone and read your text message right now because
Yeah.
I think it's very good. All right, hold on. Lawson says, I sent you a match, KRL, and if you get around to it, let me know what you think. It's between two tag partners. And I'm just like, what company is this? Can you give me context? Lawson says, Big Japan. They're two young, dumb, full of cum jocks, tag partners who agreed to fight for pride and pride alone. And I'm like, great. That is all I need to know. I'm in.
Yeah.
I watch anime. I know what I'm signing up for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're tag partners. And, I mean, to be fair, I do not partake in a lot of the Big Japan watching as well. So I was about as casual to this as Katie was. But I got wind of this match through the Puro crowd, and they've been hyping it up.
Give me any context to this promotion? Because
Sure.
I actually do not know them.
Yeah, so Big Japan probably maybe the 5th or 6th biggest promotion in Japan. Not as high as DDT, not as high as Stardom anymore, obviously. But
are they like a Ring of
Dragon
Honor pre AEW acquisition level company, or even lower?
They're almost like GCW maybe at this point.
Okay, no, I mean that makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
I'm just trying to
actually, yes.
Them.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, they are Japanese GCW because they actually have 2 divisions. They have a deathmatch division.
Oh, okay.
And they have what this division was, which is the strong style, aka guys hitting each other really fucking hard division.
I was surprised to see blading, which is not a big promotion thing in Japan. So I was like, ooh, what is their deal?
Well, the thing is, Katie, I don't think they bladed, actually.
Oh, you think that was hard way?
I'm pretty sure that was hard way.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was hard way.
I couldn't tell. Okay, well let's talk about it.
So it's Fuminari Abe and Takuya Nomura, who I knew more about Nomura going in. I'd heard about him on the come up, but they're both very black trunks, black boots wrestlers. So very Japanese, very and their team is called the Astronauts. They are beloved by Puro Dorks. Puro Dorks love these 2 kids. They love them.
After watching this match, I understand.
Yes.
Because boy howdy, the art of Japanese pro wrestling is what this is. It is one of the most strong Japanese style matches I've ever seen. In / positive. I mean this in the most positive way possible.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, they're like the team that's I would imagine if you headed into the Puro social medias and forums, they'd be like, FTR is not as good as the Astronauts or whatever. They'd be FTR is not as good. The Astronauts are better than any team in North America. But
match has that thing that I look for in a Japanese style match, which is the build.
Yeah.
And it has actual wrestling moves mixed in with bullshit.
Yes. Yes.
And once again, I mean this in a positive way.
Yeah. It's a definitely good way. Yeah. So they are tag partners. They are friends. But they have a level of violence and aggression that's not out of... But the thing is, what I love about it is you can tell there's no hatred in it. It's pure competitive spirit.
It was competitive spirit in that thing where it's I believe in you so hard that I need to push you.
Yeah.
Because I know you got that fire in you. Let's get that spirit rising.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's
we are friends.
Yeah. It was a very iron sharpens iron type of story. I also loved it. It's I know it's a lot of people's match of the year right now. I'm not sure where I would put it in that conversation right now, but it's I would think about it maybe. It was really cool. There's not a lot of matches like it that I've seen. Yeah.
No, I haven't watched a match like that in a while.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of spots that really stand out to me. I'm sorry, I don't know them well enough. So there's the round face one, the one that has the future Suzuki head.
Yes. Yeah. So round face is Takuya Nomura.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
Nomura,
and Abe is the other guy.
Abe's the tan guy.
So Nomura did this thing where he did a suplex and then I'm sorry, I'm bad with move names sometimes. It wasn't a straight up suplex. He like threw him over. Do you know what I'm talking about?
And
He like
like he did a
twisted it.
German, you mean?
Yeah, yes,
Like,
sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did a German and then he did like a fancy one. I don't know. He did like a second like he did a spin on it that I thought was really cool
Yeah.
and definitely like I've practiced this type of shit.
Yeah.
Um there
There's
was
a cool
there was
spot
a
early
lot
on.
of and Abe was kind of like doing graps. He was doing like holds and stuff.
Yeah.
Until they switched and Nomore did some holds that were truly painful looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
The holds look
really, like,
painful.
I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna break his arm off.
Yeah. The striking sequences are really cool because they weren't the traditional trading style that you see. It was
No.
very like they were trading strikes, but it wasn't like my turn, your turn. It was like
They were hitting each other.
yeah, it was more like to put it a weird way, instead of like they weren't playing in 8-8. They were playing jazz. You know what I mean?
I actually understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely felt like that. Yeah, even like when they were doing kicks and stuff, it was like there was one that I can only describe as like a Yakuza moment where he just is like kicking the shit out of him in the corner of the ring,
Yeah.
and then he kind of likes it, and then he gets up and there was a
Yeah.
lot of like I guess in this match you could get counted out for just being like on the ground too long. So
Knockout style,
they
yeah.
kept so they kept pulling each other up to keep the match going, which is very like we are friends and want to fight type energy, which I really love.
Yeah. Yeah, it was almost like Last Man Standing style in the West, where they do the count while they're down, but it was kind of almost like a boxing match. It felt sort of
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I was like, Big Japan, you truly do not have a sleepy ref situation. Everyone's counting immediately.
Yeah.
None of that New Japan like 5, 6.
6.
Maybe
7.
7.
Yeah, no, these were like real counts. Like they had to get up for real, and it was
Yeah.
and the thing that they kept doing, the running soccer kicks to each other while they
Yeah.
were down, it was just
Yeah, those
so
were
violent and
brutal.
aggressive. But like, it really brought me in because I was like, oh yeah, that's what you would do if you were trying to kill somebody. They would interrupt the count to kick each other while they were down, and
Yeah.
it was really cool.
And then at the end they just like shook hands and they're like extremely like positive like GTO ass sounding theme music starts playing and like and I was just like, wow, wrestling's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Also just like a Katie observation, I think all their parents were sitting in the front row because there was just like a row of like parent looking people, like people with like gray hair
yeah,
and glasses, and it was very funny.
yeah. I hope their parents were at that. That'd be hilarious. Look at our boys killing each other, soccer kicking each other in the head while they're down. Yeah, it was really really good stuff, and you can search it out. It's Fuminari Abe versus Takuro Nomura. Astronauts explode, and
Great. I love finding out about new stuff in wrestling, honestly, especially if it's not like US stuff. I just
yeah,
I find it exciting.
yeah. And I've actually this is the first Fuminari Abe match I've ever seen. I've seen Nomura a little bit here and there, because I think he's won the Big Japan World Title once at least. But regardless, so yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on them. Maybe they'll show up in AEW for a tag or something. That'd be really cool.
Wrestling's so fucking crazy right now in that respect. Everyone's making moves, and there's 1,000 things to watch.
Yeah, it's a
Lawson,
lot.
before we started this stream, was like, have you watched wrestling? I'm like, I have, and it still doesn't feel like enough.
There's a lot. I'm gonna.
It used to be that you had to watch 1, maybe 2 shows a week, and you knew everything that's going on. There's like 100 things happening.
Yeah. I remember in high school when I used to talk to my friends about wrestling, we would just talk about like SmackDown or Raw And that was like it. It was pretty
That
simple.
was it.
And now there's well, we're gonna go over a show that happened a little ways back, but it's AEW Title Tuesday.
Can I just bring something up before we get into Title Tuesday?
Absolutely.
Because they were doing this on a Tuesday, which is not their normal air date, which put them into direct competition with what is now NXT.
Yep.
I used to be a huge NXT fan when it was still the Triple H brand, you know,
black and yellow.
Yeah. That was like some of my favorite wrestling on TV I've ever seen up until that point.
Yeah, it was great.
I love the level of carny, desperate pettiness that WWE pulled, knowing that this AEW show was gonna air that day. I didn't watch a lot of it. I did like scam through it because it was crazy. Yeah. They brought out John Cena. They brought out The Undertaker. They brought out LA Knight, who's like the most over dude in the world, which like that's a whole other conversation we have to have sometime, because you know what? I have a lot of problems with my age, you know, like I feel like I've run out of time to like pursue my careers because I'm no longer a young spring chicken. LA Knight's out here being the biggest wrestler in the world, and he's like 50 or some shit.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
But anyway, they brought out like the most famous people who don't even wrestle anymore, just to stick it to AEW. And you know what? I gotta say that I was like, ooh, you know what? The classics are back. I can't help it. I love that level of like just like scheming bullshit.
Yeah. And the other name they brought down, Katie Rose, to I almost spilled the beans there. The other name they brought down, Katie Rhodes, to feud with his former employee, the man who said in 2019, quote, "You can't counter program what AEW does." The Throne Smasher himself, Cody Rhodes. Having to go up there.
The dumbest frat boy in all of America. Listen, I actually have zero beef with Corey. It was called him Corey. Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, me too.
He did what he has always just been a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, he just wants to wrestle where he's going to get the best deal. I support him.
Same.
But he's such a little frat boy. And I mean that in the golden retriever sense, where I think he just says stuff and doesn't think about the consequences. He really did go on TV and smash Triple H's throne, and now is on Triple H's WWE. Competing against the company he helped make. Don't get better than that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring that up before we get into it, because I thought it was really interesting that these, like, you know, the wars are back.
It was a whirlwind, Katie, and it made me happy that I'm not on social media.
The Tuesday Night War.
The Tuesday Night War. Honestly, it made me happy that I was no longer on wrestling Twitter or social media at all, so I got to miss all these awful takes about how
Me too.
AEW is trying to compete with NXT.
I blew up Twitter too.
Yeah.
I wait for you to tell me stuff and to hear trickle down stuff from a couple of my friends with more professional wrestling podcasts than us.
And I get my news from Sean Tragedy. Hey, Sean.
My friend Rob Pazbani has a wrestling show on Knotfest that is like highly produced and very well made, and like DDP like retweeted it recently, and like he can talk to me about stuff. I'm like, yeah, I got a wrestling show too.
Yeah,
sorta.
We're a professional act over here. It's in the title.
We forget to do it a lot because I get sick for 2 weeks, but it's cool. It's about the same.
It's pretty much the same if you think about it, you know.
Anyway,
we're a class act over here.
The belts.
Yes, the titles of the Tuesdays.
Belt night.
Yeah.
Title. The belt mania.
You know what's funny about this here Title Tuesday show? There were only 2 title matches on it, but there was a number 1 contender match, so we'll throw that in there too. The main event. Oh, okay. So All right, you know what? I might as well bring it out here. I've been sitting on this for a little bit, Katie. But
Do it.
I have no choice, but I have to. Edge, Adam Copeland, has never been a draw. Now, don't yell at me. Don't be mad at me. I'm not. I like Adam Copeland.
I'm listening.
I've always liked him. I've always liked him.
I'm listening.
Historically speaking, putting my hands up, he's never been a draw. Now, he's never been anywhere besides WWE. Okay? Maybe outside of WWE, he can be a draw. But if you look at it historically, so remember that WrestleMania, Katie, where Edge was going to main event with Roman Reigns a couple years ago? And so what had happened there was Edge did so poorly in the ratings to build to that WrestleMania, they brought in Bryan Danielson to make it a triple threat match. That's how bad he did on the road to that. You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
Because historically, Adam Copeland's not been a draw. Now, again, the reason I'm pointing this out is this whole show, Title Tuesday, was focused around Adam Copeland making his in-ring debut with AEW, the hottest match he's going to have, his first one in AEW. And it was to go against NXT, and he's main eventing out there with Luchasaurus. Now, whatever you thought about the match, AEW did not defeat NXT. I'm sorry to break everybody's hearts, but in the ratings, they did not.
There was no way they were gonna beat that.
That's true.
That's why I wanted to talk about it up top.
Yeah.
Because if this was just a show they did, if this happened on Wednesday, this would be a totally fine show.
Yeah. It was, and it would be. Yeah. It was.
It's like fine.
Yeah.
It's not a bad show.
No.
But they got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
You got John Cena calling spots on the mic, old school style on fucking the other channel. I'm sorry. I want to see that mess.
I miss Loud Cena. I forget how Loud Cena can be in the ring sometimes.
He's so bad.
He calls spots so loudly.
Like, that's just like what he does.
It's part of his charm. It's part of his charm, honestly.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I kind of liked it when I was a kid because it kind of like was teaching me about wrestling. Like hearing him like throw a right hand at a Bro Del Rio being like German suplex. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm like, it's teaching me how to wrestle.
It's like shonen. You gotta yell the move before you do it.
Yeah, it's a gambit. It's like JJK. You do more damage if you say their name. That's what I've been telling people with wrestling now. You do more damage if you say their name before you do the move. Anyway, this isn't a podcast where we like go in. WrestleNomics does all the number shit. That's not what we do here. But I just want to point out,
super care. But it does matter for the point you're trying to make, which I understand, which is you're saying this whole thing is being built around a buzz around Adam Copeland making his debut, and I have a feeling you were disappointed, or your expectations were met.
Okay, so yeah, AEW. Their number. I'm not blaming Adam Copeland for whatever the numbers were, but so this is so funny, Katie. So I've been telling my friends that Adam Copeland historically has not been a draw. My friend just messaged me on Discord, "Why are you such a savage?" with a photo of Adam Copeland looking out at a very empty AEW arena. With their ticket sales did not do super good, and they've been focusing the shows around him. Which is why I bring this up, because, and again, I like Adam. I just want to keep saying that because I don't want people to think that I'm some kind of hater. I really like Adam, but I think here's what I want to say: let's not make Adam Copeland the main character of the show.
No, he shouldn't be. This match should have been lower in the card.
Yes.
And, because I think the whole Edge Christian thing is a great story, but the main character should be the other Adam.
Yes, Hangman Page is the one.
The millennial cowboy who doesn't believe in himself.
Anxious millennial cowboy hero.
That is the guy who should be the main story.
Yes.
There's a couple of people that should be the main story. This should not be the main thing. It's an exciting thing. It's gonna build into something cool. I think it just should have been like not. I remember even like when we got to that match, me being like, oh yeah, this is like
a thing.
This is like what the show is about.
Yeah.
Like,
And they've been having him. He's been opening like the shows start. His music hits. He's been opening the shows. He's always the show closing angle since Wrestle Dream. Since he closed that show, he's been the opening and the closing act. And I just think, I know what TK's doing it, but I just think we're overrating this man's ability here a little bit. I just want to pull the reins in.
You know, we forget that the thing with TK is he's living his childhood dream right now.
Yeah.
So
he grew up
I think
on
sometimes
Edge. I did too.
I think sometimes the like rose-colored glasses of like dudes he was a fan of paint his decision making, and like I get it, because if I was him, I'd be doing the same fucking bullshit. I'd be like, all right, welcome to Jamie Hayter's television show. And
I mean,
be like, there's other wrestlers here. I'm like, no, it's Jamie Hayter's television
it's the
show.
Jamie Hayter
you're all
show.
just living in it, or whatever. I'm obsessed. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I know.
Would probably do well.
I'm not saying that I could do TK's job, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
But I'm just making observation. But I accidentally made a really good suggestion to TK, which is you got 3 TV shows and one of them no one's watching. Why isn't it a women's show? Just saying.
Just make Rampage like the women's show, like have all women's matches on it, or like three out of 4.
Yeah, like make it like a majority women's.
Make it what's they used to use? Oh, an attraction. That's what they used to call it in this business. Yeah, that's a cool idea. So the other thing, so as a comparison point, and I know Jay White is not as famous as Adam Copeland, okay, but
he's got the goods.
He's got the goods. He's in his prime. When Jay White came to this company, not only did he not get to go out and like cut promos to the crowd every week, no one told us who the fuck he was for months. He came out and jumped Ricky Starks and then ran away. And who was that?
An observation, and like maybe you can correct me on this, because I might just be pulling this out of my ass. I think AEW sometimes falls victim to the idea that it is a wrestling show for people who are hardcore wrestling fans. So they'll like bring people on with storylines from different companies or different things and just assume everybody knows who they are already, when it's a huge missed opportunity to onboard everyone and get them excited about someone they might not know about, or even, as I've been saying this whole time, get people who don't watch wrestling that's who you really want.
Yes, I completely agree.
I think Jay White is a perfect example.
Yeah.
You and I are weeb idiots, so of course we're fully up
Jay
White's
White showed up and
already.
we're like, yeah,
we've been making Jay White memes for like 4 years already.
Yeah.
But someone who only watches wrestling that's on U.S. television, was mostly a WWE person, only came over to AEW like recently because some of their guys, like they remember Jericho. They're not gonna know who the fuck Jay White is.
Yeah.
And it would have been so easy to be like, this guy used to fuck with Kenny. Like, this guy...
He replaced him.
It's like such an easy sell. Yeah. They just had to do like 2 promos and it would have been all set up.
Yes, literally when he came in. So the promo Jay White cut against MJF when they had that in-ring like a couple weeks ago, that should have been the promo he cut the first week he was in this fucking company. He should have showed up and been like, hey, you know who I am? I'm Jay White. He has that promo on lock. He did it in New Japan a million times. But
also, I have a little... I too am starting to have a problem with MJF.
Okay. You starting to see things my way, Katie? You starting to see my side here a little bit?
Well, I wasn't fighting fully against you.
Yeah, that's true.
But, so with that whole promo, then part of it was they let Juice loose. Yes. They let the Juice loose. And I gotta tell you, I've been real, when Juice was in New Japan, I was always like, what the fuck is this? I'm fully on board for AEW Juice. I think he finally, really found his stride.
Yeah.
In the promo, he threatens Max with a roll of quarters. This is supposed to be a reference.
Let's get into this.
to Max at one point tells a sob story about being bullied for being Jewish in high school and having people throw quarters at him, which I can tell you is complete made up shit because everyone in Plainview, Long Island is Jewish as fuck. And those kids are probably in his Hebrew school, but let's not here or there. And
Sure.
just a reminder, if this is the first time you're tuning into this fucking show, I am Jewish. So and I am from Long Island. So this is why I'm saying this,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
And I have beef with this for two reasons. One, I mean, they did not know that a Palestinian genocide was going to happen that week.
They didn't.
But, like, bad timing.
They didn't.
And then two, I totally like the idea that Juice is like, I'm getting inside your head, Max. I'm a little gremlin man. I look like I'm in the Electric Mayhem Muppet Band. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think this angle is trying too hard with the implications. I don't think wrestling's smart enough for it. I don't think Max is a sympathetic hero. If you want him to be a babyface, it's got to be like the guy who sucks, who just figured out how not to suck and is grappling with not sucking.
Yeah.
I don't want him to, like...
Jewish Superman?
I liked it better.
Goldberg.
Well, Superman is Jewish, by the way.
Not me. This is news to me. I thought he was a Kryptonian.
Well, yeah, but he was created by Jews. It was an allegory for
oh
Jewish
yes,
placement.
that's right. That's I
But
forgot
anyway,
about that.
But it's just I don't need that angle. Like listen, it's been a dream come true to me to have the stereotype of Jewish musical theater bully from Long Island mainstreamed because it's such a specific type of human being I grew up with, and I know exactly who this kid is, like to a T.
Yeah.
This kid threw me in a locker, called me the F-bomb, and then beat me for the lead in the drama club play. Like this is who I grew up with.
Yeah.
So that kind of shit, like when he did his pretend bar mitzvah and stuff with two black eyes, that's great. Yeah. I love that stuff.
Was fun. Yeah.
I don't like this like sympathetic like you crossed the line thing. Luckily, AEW is pretty good at dropping shit when it doesn't work, and I think because of the war, they're gonna like just let this go.
So yeah,
hopefully, because if they don't, that's really bad. And also, AEW, don't you dare make a post about it. I don't want to hear who you side with. I don't want to fucking. I'm gonna just do a public announcement right now. If you run a meme account, you're a dog, you're someone who sells pencils, just don't talk about it. I don't want to hear any of your political thoughts, like literally ever. I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna post about it. So two things about this, Katie. One, they've dropped it. I think they've pivoted away from it. I think.
Sorry to pop off, but
it's totally. I'm glad you brought it up because. So something happened on a Collision, I think with Juice or whatever, because Juice put the ring on. They pivoted away from the quarters so that he's doing the ring thing.
Great.
So they pivoted away.
And that's great. I love that.
But, so, I gotta be honest though.
I'm sorry. From a wrestling standpoint, Bullet Club Gold is so great because they're bad guys who are fun and people like. And now you're going to be like, but also they're anti-Semites? Like, that's so fucking weird.
So, okay, I got to be honest, though, Katie, and I think I was in the minority, maybe. I really liked that angle. I really liked the angle. Because, can I explain, though?
Okay.
So, I'm not Jewish, and I'm not going to tell anybody how to feel about the angle, because it's not my place. But what I liked about it was so Juice, and people don't really know this because Juice is kind of new of it as a character, but he used to do the thing. He's punched people with quarters in other times.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like I know that like he used to do that.
It wasn't like
that.
He wasn't like actually. He wasn't purposefully being like, I'm gonna quarter you, Jew boy, or whatever. But what I loved about it was the interesting crosshatch of this guy being like, yeah, you know what I do is I hit people with quarters. And the fact that it like triggered, and I'm using this word
Max.
on purpose, Because this is how that word's actually supposed to be used.
It's how it's supposed to be used.
This actually triggered a real traumatic event for another character. I actually thought was interesting because, like you said, Katie, wrestling doesn't usually try to do anything smart. And I thought it was interesting. But
I see what you mean, but once again, it's like they didn't establish that with Juice on this show.
That's the problem.
And how is anyone supposed to know?
That's the problem.
Once again.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, you got the guns in there. People know who they are. So their behavior makes sense. Like, it's just like AEW always misses a beat where they're like, well, these kids already know who they are. They're on the internet. I'm like, you can't. That's just bad storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah,
makes
no, it's
me
true.
crazy.
And the Juice isn't even like Juice is not one like even for the hardcore fans. He was never like a main eventer in New Japan. It's not like he went around and hit people with quarters like every 3 months on pay-per-view or whatever.
I just
he
remember
did this, like,
being
twice.
mad about his outfits.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that was my main experience of Juice.
Yeah.
AEW.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck am I looking at?
I thought it could have been something interesting, and AEW is the only promotion that I would actually maybe trust to do something like this in a way that wasn't bad. That being said, the timing, which was out of their hands, did not work out.
It's still wrestling, you know.
I know,
what I mean?
and you can't control the way the crowd interprets it either, as you know, because I'm sure. Again, if
they just hire us and let us write it.
Yeah, I would trust us to be able to make it.
Then even if it's bad, it's actually good and perfect.
Sure. As everything we do, Katie.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, they've dropped it, and I'm honestly, part of me's a little sad. Part of me's relieved because like, wow, that definitely could have steamrolled.
Again,
but part of me's like, oh, I wonder what could have happened there.
I guess I would have liked it if it triggered MJF going back to the old me, being like, well, if this is how you're gonna treat me, then this is how I'm gonna treat you. But because I'm sick of him being a good guy.
Yeah, I don't love him being. I don't like Super MJF. I don't like superhero babyface MJF, and it's not just because I like the Righteous, by the way. Even if he did that to a team I didn't like, I would still be upset. I'd be like, why?
He's just less charming. He's less charming, especially without Adam Cole around.
Yeah,
you know, it just doesn't make sense.
Anyway, that was a long tangent, but it was very important because it was actually about a lot of cool stuff going on right now. So,
I'm sorry, I'm like very scatterbrained.
No, it's okay. I think honestly, there was an interesting point that we definitely should have got to. So, anyway, Adam Copeland beats Luchasaurus. I thought the match was okay.
Fine.
And he can still go. Here's the thing about Adam Copeland. He's not going to be Bryan Danielson, but he'll be better than Saraya. And I'll take it.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
he'll be
Adam
in the middle.
Still cares about this stuff.
Yeah.
And he used to be on TVs, like in a Viking show. So he's like physically fit.
Yeah. He can still go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I like this storyline, if I'm gonna be honest.
Like I do too.
I don't think it should be the main one, but like I like it.
Christian Cage.
It's got me on board with Nick Wayne, so.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Heel Nick Wayne, baby.
I like it.
Christian Cage is doing some of the best work of his fucking career.
He's so good.
He's just killing it.
I love him so much. Anytime he opens his mouth, because he does real textbook promos, but in a way that I love, where he'll be like, as soon as he's in any city, he's like, fuck your sports team. You all are disgusting to me. Your women are gross. Your local food that you love is disgusting. And I fucked your mom and your dad is dead.
Yeah. Shut your mouth while I'm conducting my business while I'm wearing a turtleneck.
Yeah. It's like.
So we had, let's talk about the ace of the universe. Hikaru Shida. The savior. Shida, she come to town. She come to save the women's title.
Yeah, she got the title back. I feel a little sad for her because I know she was brought out to, to probably lose it very quickly. But at least it's with a champion. You know what I mean?
At least it's with a real champion.
And she wore her little fucking Princess Mononoke coated outfit out there, and it's so good to see her.
Yes. Agreed. And big ups for the new champion Karashida. And
Yeah.
Saraya era is over. And look it up. It's looking up. Then we had a big match here. Jay White defeats Hangman Page. Hangman Page has never beaten Jay White.
This was good.
This was so
and
good.
yeah, my partner pointed it out to me because he's a little New Japan head. He reminded me of that, and I'm like, that's actually a cool storyline because that's like a long running, long hair boy situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they work really good in the ring together.
Yeah. They're terrific. And so one day, Hangman will be champion again, and his toughest test will be finally defeating that dastardly Jay White.
Yeah.
But this sets up Jay. We have our Full Gear main event. It's Jay White and MJF, so we build to that. We had Swerve Strickland lose to the GOAT, Bryan Danielson, in another stupendous Danielson match that he had with one fucking arm.
This was cool.
This is really good.
And Swerve still looks really strong, which I think is important for what they're doing with his character right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still looking good. It's okay. He's not derailed. And yeah, he's great.
But
Love
Danielson,
Swerve.
once again, the position of the Leong's professional wrestling podcast is "fuck them kids." Come on,
Fuck
man!
them kids. Keep wrestling. You
Keep
can't
wrestling!
go. You can't
You're
go.
so good.
You're the
It's
best.
fine.
You have like
Kids!
$1 million. Can't you they hug $1 million when they go to sleep instead of you?
Buy them a really good therapist.
Yeah. By the way, the therapist from that Rick and Morty episode, the Pickle Rick episode. And then we had, so an interesting story here, Rey Fenix, coming into his title defense injured. Did not face Jon Moxley because Jon Moxley was injured.
Is also injured.
This,
Lawson, what
Yes,
is
Katie.
going on with this company
I will
right
tell
now?
you. I will tell you exactly what's happening. The power of the international title is that unless you are Orange Cassidy, you cannot
died.
wield it. It kills you.
It's cursed.
Yeah, it kills you to hold it unless you have the power of the orange punch. Even his hand was like his hand was riding off during his run, but Phoenix is back.
I
Moxley's
almost
head.
feel like they should go with that. Like they should start doing a supernatural kayfabe angle where they're like, there's
a
like a
cursed
literal
title.
curse on. The
Yeah,
belt.
it's a cursed
Like-
title.
I'm worried about Mox.
Yeah. Hopefully he just needs some time. I hope.
Yeah.
But Phoenix is also falling apart. So
Yeah.
we go back to Orange, the hot hand, baby. He's still the man. He's the man once again.
You got it back.
got-
I can't
he got it
believe
back
how
because-
fast that happened.
Everyone else fell apart.
Everyone died.
Everyone died.
It was such a big deal for him to lose it, and then it's
Yeah.
like, meh, never mind.
Yeah.
And I get it, because like at this point, once Phoenix got hurt too, it's like, well, literally, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You
That's
can't just give it to another rando.
Yeah.
Like,
Not that I've really seen this take out there, but for people who were like, oh, you just gave it back to Orange Cassidy. This wasn't the plan, clearly. They had two people almost die while holding it. Like, they clearly had a longer term story, but also he's still there. So give it back to him and revamp the story up. It's fine. He's Orange Cassidy.
AEW is in a little bit of a rebuild right now.
Yeah,
Story,
Darby killed himself so he could go climb Mount Everest. So that's I know,
Is that
Katie.
real? Is
Yeah.
he really trying to do that?
Yeah, as far as I know. As far as I know, he really is. Yeah. I don't know.
I know some musicians that he probably likes. I feel like calling them up to be like, can you tell this kid not to climb Mount Everest?
Just tell him not to.
I'm gonna buy a cameo from like Glenn Danzig and be like,
Darby.
Darby, don't you climb that mountain, you're gonna die.
You could really die. And we had the pre-show match was Eddie Kingston and Minoru Suzuki, which I actually just rewatched today because my Discord was fucking up the first time I was trying to watch it.
Eddie's just living his lifelong dreams,
Yeah.
and yet seems so resentful of it. He keeps like posting these videos on Instagram. He's like, "I got these 2 belts. I can't do the indies. I wish I could." He's like so irritated he can't do the indies. He's like, he was doing this thing for Progress, and he was just like, yeah, you guys love me, but I got these belts, and I mean, I guess be careful what you wish for. I'm like, yeah, Eddie, you wished for this your whole life. What do you want? You're like 2-belt champion.
Yeah.
And I know it's like kayfabe, he's kind of working it, but also it's just so funny that that's the angle he goes with.
He's being really apologetic to all the indie dates he's missing, which I think is funny because I don't really know who expects him to, like... I mean, it's like I get it, but also...
He might have booked a lot of them, like, so far in advance that, like,
he
didn't know he was going to have 2 titles.
Get pushed, like this.
And
I also think it's funny because nobody cares about Progress anymore. No offense. No offense.
It's a completely different... I didn't even know Progress was still a company.
It still does shows. Yeah, it's still been doing shows. It's just that nobody likes them.
To me, UK wrestling is, like... It's Chris Brooks, who is in Japan. Like,
yeah.
Although, on that NXT show, I did not know that Tyler Bates still wrestled.
Yep.
So that was news for me.
Yep. Just a prodigious wrestler, just hanging out in NXT in his 20s. Yeah. Anyway, so that was Title Tuesday. This leads into
featuring 2 titles.
Featuring 2 title matches. This leads into 2 title changes. Congrats to Shida and Orange Cassidy. So Bryan Danielson defeated Swerve, and that led into the Collision main event where he faced Christian Cage in another fucking fantastic match.
That was cool. I watched that one.
Really dope. Bryan Danielson had the man beat. Everyone was barred from ringside, but then Big Bill and Richard Starks.
This tag team is so funny to me.
Oh yeah, they're the tag team champions, by the way. They beat FTR because they were fucked up.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
And every time Big Bill opens his mouth, I'm just like, Queens, baby, let's go! Maspeth, let's go!
You 2 guys fucking think that me and Ricky ain't gonna come for the titles.
Just because we missed the B-38 does not mean we won't be there. My sister's got a car. I ride on the top because I'm Big Bill, and I'm literally big.
One of my friends doesn't call him Big Bill, he just calls him Queens. Like, he'll just text me, like, he'll be like, Pebble and Queens are on. Because they called Ricky Starks that. He's not a Ricky Starks fan. But,
you know, not everyone can get it. I understand.
It's like that.
It's kind of a hard sell for some people. I'm just on board. I see.
Some people are just like, oh, he's kind of like The Rock, and I'm like, you mean awesome? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like great,
like a good shit talker and handsome and with a sense of style. Sure. Who can wrestle?
Oh
no! Damn that handsome man with style who can wrestle. Damn him.
I'll never forget that one time MJF was like cutting a promo and he stomps down the way at him, and he does so by kicking his loafers off. He kicks his Gucci slides like into the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times. So this feud must continue. Ricky Starks belts Bryan in the head. Bryan Danielson, of note, is power scaled right now at the highest degree because he defeated Okada, which means he can't be defeated.
Of the company right now.
Yeah, it means he can't lose to anybody clean, unless you're like the top guy. So Cage retains. So I don't know where we're going with Danielson and Starks here. But their matches so far have fucking ruled, so...
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, here's the thing. Danielson could wrestle a paper bag and I'd be riveted.
Yeah. Yeah,
could
he's pretty.
he could like struggle peeling a banana, and I'm like, this is amazing.
I put the banana in the label lock. Struggled. Watch me just struggling to peel a banana. Well, as Brian Danielson of course taught us, fruit is essentially tree cum. So
I mean,
that from the goat himself.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Not totally wrong.
He's not wrong. The other good match that happened on the show, Katie Rose, was Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue. That's
know.
right.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So
I'm sure it was great.
All my friends really like Sky Blue, and they're always
we've talked about this.
They are always like, Sky Blue's here, yay, our favorite wrestler. And I'm just like, guys, she's 22, she's fine, she's figuring it out. And they're like, why you gotta be a hater, Lawson? She's the best wrestler there is. And I'm like, all right. And then, so he has this match with Chris Statlander, and it's really great. I think it is actually the best Sky Blue match to date, and that's in no small part to Chris Statlander.
I was gonna say, this is no shade to Sky Blue, but Chris Statlander is just a different beast.
She's a different kind of beast. Yeah.
She's really good.
She's on a run, Katie. This is what we call a run right here. She pulled that match out of Julia Hart. Once again, Julia Hart very much improved. Most improved wrestler in AEW. But she's still like, what, 20 maybe? And
yeah, Chris
very
is just ruining young women's lives.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris Statlander's having, like, it's one thing to have a great match with Mercedes Martinez or Britt Baker, who's very experienced. But to have this level of quality with Julia Hart and Sky Blue, she is on another level right now. She's killing it. And she's already like a way better champion than Jade was in the ring. But that's not really fair. Jade was a rookie, basically. But Chris Stat's been wrestling for like a few years. But her title defenses are must watch. Sky Blue had the really fucked up makeup, Katie. That's why I texted you. Why is Sky Blue's makeup?
I haven't seen it yet. I do. I love it. I love it when you text me something like that because you know I have an opinion. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I just said, why is Sky Blue's eyeshadow? Because it's just like...
I was out at a metal show and I almost like went in the bathroom to try and find a picture because I'm like, it's gonna be bad. I gotta see it.
So apparently it's because Julia Hart like misted her, but the thing is, I've seen her have this fucked up eyeshadow before, so I don't know if that's really the part of the story. But so after the match, Statlander goes to shake her hand. It was a very competitive match. Sky Blue got a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
She goes to shake her hand. Sky Blue swats it away. I'm not your friend. And then Willow comes in and mediates because we love Willow, and
Willow's the best.
She's the best. And she's like, hey, Stat, she's just a little hot right now. It's okay. Statlander is pissed because she was trying to be a good sportswoman, and this little punk just, like, slapped her hand away. So she leaves, and she's all hot, but Willow's just trying to, like, be, like, the mediator. So we'll see where that goes. They're kind of teasing a Sky Blue heel turn because of the Julia Hart acid witch stuff. But...
Well, maybe they'll make them a tag team.
Maybe the young...
Or House of Black could use...
House of Black and Blue.
Some more members or something.
Yeah.
Although...
I don't know what's going on with Malachi. I gotta ask Sean about that, because I don't know what's going on with him. We'll see. Without further ado, it's time to get to our new segment.
Wrestler of the Week?
Wrestler of the Week! Uppercut.
Lawson, who's your wrestler of the week?
Oh man, so many to choose from. I think given their output, it's pretty chalk. But I have to say Mr. Bryan Danielson is my wrestler of the week.
I mean,
he is just
wrestler of the week, month,
year, forever. Yeah. Mr. B. Danielson continues to be the GOAT, and I keep saying, fuck them kids.
Can I pick someone really random and I don't really have a lot of justification for it?
I'd love to, yeah.
I want to pick Ram Kachow from First Way 666. She has a belt right now, and she's been posting all these crazy videos. She's a longtime favorite wrestler of mine. She's a
Sick.
Japanese wrestler that always wears the Japanese ghost face paint. And she's in California for some fucking reason. And it's just been taking 100 videos of herself posing with her belt in front of palm trees and like skateboarders. And I just love her so much, and I love to see it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Words. So, yeah, with that, there's only one other thing to say. If you like the pod, you can support us at patreon.com/happywrestling. Where,
Happy wrestling.
There are more MVs being uploaded as we speak.
Yeah,
Upload.
Lawson's creative output is crazy and spans decades.
It's an illness. That's I'd rather make wrestling MVs than go to therapy. Katie, that's another week, another episode. The meme lives forever.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you.
We'll see you next week.
Happy wrestling,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Happy wrestling.